So it has officially been announced that Redo of Healer is going to get an anime next year, January 13th, 2021. Well, while it's got an anime announced now that's going to be released, of course the Puritans already want it to be cancelled. Why am I not surprised? Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, while Redo of Healer has had its anime announced for next year, Puritans are just going insane, and I don't think anyone is surprised that the Puritans would go nuts over this. Which, we're going to get into Redo of Healer for those of you who don't know what it is or what it's about. We're going to get into that. But first, before we get into that, I just wanted to apologize. I know I was going to have content yesterday. I just was not feeling well yesterday morning, and I rested all day yesterday. And so last night I was starting to feel a lot better, so that was good. I really needed all that rest, and now I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. So I just want to thank you all for your patience during this time. Do apologize, but we're going to have a lot of content coming up today, as well as the Ruby review tonight and the Q&A. So look forward to all that coming out today. We got a lot to cover. So, talking about this issue right here, though. So, I wanted to give a shout out to Raging Golden Eagle. He posted this, and he makes some really good points here. Just like Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero before it, we need to make sure the show dominates the ratings this year. Eventually, even the thickest-skulled executives have to realize that everything these people claim is bad does very well financially. And ironically, it does, because when these Puritans go screeching around about stuff like this, for example, like they did with Goblin Slayer, Shield Hero, and Uzaki-chan, well, what happened? They became so much more popular. Like, they were the ones, because apparently they don't know what the Streisand effect is, they were the ones that went screeching about it like, oh, we don't want anyone to see it, right? Well, then whenever they were screeching over it, saying that it was terrible, attacking anime fans and whatnot, well, they drew more attention to it, and then that's how it became so popular as it is now, which of course they're doing yet again with Redo of Healer. So this person, which is Belladonna of Badness, or Lindsay from ANN, Anime News Network, which, by the way, trash site. They're basically the CNN of anime news. I mean, they're clowns. That's all they are. Which, this person, Lindsay here, she was the one who was making a bunch of hate articles on Vic Mignogna last year during the Vic case. Now, I do want to say one thing. Please do not please do not attack these people. Leave them alone. Don't do anything bad, okay? Just leave these people alone. But this person right here, okay, she has now started going after Redo of Healer, stating, the first thing I have to do at work this morning is deal with Redo of Healer. This isn't news to anyone who follows me, but this series is going to be exhausting. And she's already tried to get this just completely canceled. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that no company picks this up that streams. That's what they're already trying to do. And that's exactly what she's trying to do. And this is very similar to what they were doing when it came to Shield Hero. They were bashing it, attacking it, calling fans incels and misogynists. Like all this stuff. They were doing whatever they could to try to beat down this series. Same thing with Uzaki-chan when you think about it. They were trying to say that anybody who liked Uzaki-chan, which by the way, her character is 19, 20 years old now currently in the manga, but they were trying to say that it was, exploitation of minors, which of course everybody knows that's not true, but that's what they were trying to instigate. These Puritans do this all the time. It's nothing new, and it's dumb. And now, of course, Redo of Healer is what they're after. And I want to look at a summary of this, kind of go over it. And I have read it myself, so I'll give you my thoughts as well. Now, this is what Nichiban had to say, so here's an article from Nichiban talking about the summary. Keep in mind, I will say this, though. This series is very edgy. So, it's dark and edgy. Just keep that in mind. But, this is the summary. The boy, Kial, has awakened to his true nature as a brave warrior of healing and is set to embark on an adventurous journey to save the world with the heroes. However, as a recovering magician with no combat skills, he was waiting for days of abuse from the brave men who exploited his abilities. It's not just men that were abusing him, it was also women. There were female characters that were abusing him in the series too, by the way. So, let me just state that also. Female characters are also doing it to him too. Deprived of his freedom and dignity, Kale comes to his senses and discovers the truth behind the restoration. Recovery is not just a cure, it is a power that shakes the world and people from their very roots. Kale decides to restore the world itself and start over. Everything from 4 years ago, and he is excited about revenge against the brave men and women. The party's about to begin, which this is basically a revenge story. I mean, the main character, he gets revenge for the abuse that they put him through. I mean, they starve him, they beat him, they do some spicy things to him too. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that they do to the character. And so with his power, he basically reverses it back to 4 years ago, and he starts to get revenge on them. I mean, and the thing that they're trying to attack this over, which, by the way, let me just say this. This is fiction. Keep in mind, no real people are actually being hurt. Of course, it's fictional characters. Yes, it's a revenge plot. People are going to see this how they're going to see this. And yeah, it's pretty dark and edgy, but keep in mind, this is fiction, okay? You know, it's funny to have these Puritans, they want to go after all of the fiction, you know, like anime, for example, and say, oh, well, it's terrible, it hurts people. When in the real world, there are real people out there that are actually going through abuse and terrible things daily. But they don't want to fight that battle, you know, they don't bring up stuff like that, but they want to fight battles with fictional characters, you know, and how fictional characters are being hurt, you know, they want to bring that up, but when it comes to real people getting hurt, nah, they don't want to say a word, they keep quiet about that. It goes to show you their priorities. It's ridiculous. Now, this person stated this: the moral crusaders of Anime News Network and friends are already gathering their collective energy in order to smite the incels and misogynists who will enjoy Redo of Healer and pressure streaming companies into dropping it. Which is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure it doesn't even get out there at all because they are just like, well, it doesn't suit our agenda. Get it out of here. That's exactly what they're doing. And one person stated this: every season, it feels like some light novel series is determined to embody a more vile worldview than the season before. Trying to review those without getting a bunch of death threats is definitely not something I miss. And then another person stated this, saying, there's definitely shield hero energy going on here. It's just a question of what degree they're doing it. I pretty much hate the type across the entire spectrum. And why does this person hate the type across the entire spectrum? Because they're not an anime fan. These people are not anime fans. You know, they try to put on the facade that, oh, well, we're the voice of the anime fans. Yeah, no, they're not. No. They're just a bunch of talentless hacks. That's all they are, and that's why people don't take them seriously. And then Belladonna of Badness had to say this: I'm absolutely going to judge whatever service picks this up because it means I'm going to deal with these randos on a larger scale than most of 2021. Oh, well, you're messing with the wrong fandom then, because when you mess with us anime fans, it doesn't ever result very well. And here's the thing, I will say this, is that Anime News Network and these Puritans, they think that they have the moral authority over everything else. They think that they can say what can and can't be consumed by the Western audience. It's disgusting. It's wrong. I can't stand how they think that they can just be like, well, this doesn't need to be here because we don't like it. It doesn't fit our standards. And that's how they act. It's terrible. And I have to say, Black Sage D had a really good point here, stating the fact that these anime journalists want to now act like the moral taskmasters for what anime the West should consume is absolutely disgusting and reeks of the same amount of moral puritanism the Christian fundamentalist conservatives did in the 80s and 90s, which he's absolutely right when you think about it. And, you know, look back in the 80s and 90s, especially like what I remember in the 90s was like Pokemon to them was like satanic. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I remember back in the 90s that they were trying to make this big argument of trying to get Pokemon banned because they believed that it was devil worship. I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't know how many people remember that besides myself, but I remember that, and it was insane. And yet again, here the Puritans are trying to say what people can and can't consume in the West. It's ridiculous, and it's disgusting. I mean, it really is. And, you know, when you look at stuff like this, when you look at people like Lindsay here stating stuff like this, well, here's the thing. We know Twitter's going to explode. I mean, if they're already having a problem right now, Twitter is going to lose their shit when this series releases. Because, I mean, as someone who's watched it, I mean, it's pretty edgy. It's pretty dark. But, you know, yeah, they're going to lose their mind. Now, personally, I find it to be good. I'm just saying. And they don't clearly understand what the Streisand effect is, because the more that you bring attention to it, the more people are going to get interested, and the more they're going to watch it. The more that they say, oh, well, don't watch it, it's terrible, don't watch it. Well, how many times has that failed? Multiple. Because they've made series like Shield Hero, Goblin Slayer, Uzaki-chan, and others popular by doing this. And here we are again with a redo of Healer, and they're going to do it again. I mean, people are already starting to get interested in the series, and it's going to be interesting to see how this goes down, because I'm going to be covering every moment of this when this happens, because the Puritans are going to lose their minds like no other, and I'm going to cover every moment of this. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you were still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels, so make sure you were still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.